look, there's no doubt that we're in, I guess, remarkable times generally in our capital city housing markets. The key driver of all housing markets, particularly of price, of course, are interest rates. We're in this period now where we haven't had a change in interest rates for now over 2 years. We have interest rates at that record low 1.5%. We've had that over 2 years now. We've never had a period of interest rates at a single level ever since the Reserve Bank's been setting rates. So what we're seeing is that the interest rate driver is now out of the equation, and what we have seen is those very strong markets of Melbourne and Sydney, once we've taken interest rates out of the market force, have now started to, I guess, dissipate in terms of prices growth. And this, of course, is to be expected because a lot of that pent-up demand, a lot of that boom-type energy has now gone, because if you can't put upward pressure on house prices unless you've got a lower interest rate or a higher income. And once that's gone, you know, we get into this very flat period, which we're now evolving into now. But of course, the key in between phase is confidence, and we've seen almost a crisis of confidence in the Melbourne and Sydney markets particularly. And this is now starting to resolve itself with lower prices, and it can tend to be self-perpetuating, because people start to put off their buying and selling decisions, and you only get those non-discretionary type of sales that are occurring, which looks like prices are falling, which keeps confidence low. Now, this will only be a short-term influence on the market, because the perplexing scenario with our markets is the underlying drivers of the capital city markets, with the exception perhaps of Perth, and even that market's improving, are very strong. We have strong economies, we have strong migration, we have a shortage of rental properties, and all these factors, of course, we also have strong first home buyer activity. All these factors mean that demand will move ahead of supply. Now, where does Brisbane fit into all of this? Well, Brisbane has actually punched above its weight in a sense over the last 4 or 5 years, since we have had these booms in Melbourne and Sydney. Now, Brisbane hasn't had obviously the same response that Melbourne and Sydney have had, but it is actually growing in quite a remarkably consistent way from house prices over the last 4 or 5 years.